Testing, testing, checking to make sure everything is running okay. Making sure it's going to the correct stream. Do. I'm just gonna finish this up here quickly. So today I've got some things to open up. I've got, we're going to work on the Wasteland Headdress today as well. But I've got some really cool items back here. There was a giveaway that I won from Dat Cosplay, so we're going to open that up as well. So Dat Cosplay, before we dive into the Wasteland, was running a giveaway for, I'm not sure if you guys remember Legends of the Hidden Temple. So in her giveaway, I love cosplay cards, so there's that. We'll move this for now. And then in the rest of this is very neatly packed. Ann Arbor T-shirt company. Alright, let's just cut this. Oop. It's tape and stuff stuck to my scissors. So also in this, pick up the plastic. I don't want the cat to eat it. Oh, that is too cute. Alright, so I don't need this. Get all the plastic tucked away. Don't want to kill the cat. Love him dearly. So Dat Cosplay, So I'm not sure if you guys remember Legends of the Hidden Temple, but here's the Green Monkey shirt. They had a bunch of teams of, I want to say they were young adult, but kids, that would run through these obstacle courses, and they had these really, really cute shirts. So there was, I can't think of too many, but there was the Green Monkeys, there was Silver Team, and Blue Barracudas, so it's funny. And then there's this really cool, and it's laser cut. It's a wood, it's made out of wood, and it's laser cut, and so it's got the almanac head on it. And then it says on the back, which is really cool, and I'll zoom, it says Dat Cosplay, So thank you very much. This is really cute. This is adorable. I'll have to wear it on a day where I'm just roaming around the con, taking pictures of everybody. This will be great. This will be great. Oh, it's too cute. So again, Dat Cosplay, she was doing it on her Instagram, so you can find her at Dat, D-A-T, Cosplay, and follow her. Really cool stuff. Cute too. Just don't know where to put it where it's not going to get messy. We'll go underneath the table. There we go. Alright, so now on task, getting into business. I am working on a Wasteland Headdress for the opening weekend of the Michigan Renaissance Festival. So I've kind of spread out the work here, and you guys are going to get more of me because we're going to do some sewing, and I've got to put these dreadlocks onto my hat. But first things first, I had to order some things. So my original game plan, as you see, was to have a saber-toothed tiger skull, these really long antelope horns, jawbones, and dreads, feathers, etc. However, with timing and there only being so many weeks between now and the 19th of August, I had to next the saber-tooth tiger skull, and we went with a coyote skull, and I'll show you that. But so we're gonna start opening some things, and all of these will be part of the Wasteland costume. Behind me, you can kind of see what we've started with, and so I've just let's see. I just put a bunch of things that I already had around together. So I made this little tail. If you look, if it looks like the fabric, the fur from Talon's cloak, you're correct. That's what this is made out of. I just put some stuffing inside of it and looped it on. Old belts that I've had, fish netting, a fake taxidermy quality polar bear claw. I went to go see a friend in Colorado a couple years back, a college friend, and so I picked up some antler beads from deer antler beads, which I thought were really cute. It just got a bunch of pouches. You will see down here that there are tabards. They're not weathered yet. There's 4 of them that'll go on the legs. So I think I know what's in this one. Let's hold off on that. And we're going to go with this package here. If I'm not mistaken, these should be the pants. Put that over there. So the tube top the gray tube top that you see here was already a part of my closet. Every girl probably has a bunch of corsets. So that's a vest under bust. And these, it's a hit or miss when you buy things last minute online, and if you can get into them correctly. These were supposed to be, okay, I'm already liking it. It's feeling like a better quality fabric than I originally thought they were going to be. Don't like the waistline. It's that stretchy waistline, but I can hide that underneath the corset. They're not too thick, but what they are is they're the harem pants. I figured I needed something loose for once that wasn't going to cause me to overheat outfit wise. So I've got the harem pants that will go underneath all of this, the tank top, or the tube top, and the tabards behind me. So actually that just kind of stuck there, didn't it? Let's tuck it in there. No, oops. Or not. But yeah, so those are those. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. More plastic. Anything else in there that I needed to keep? Nope. Okay, cool. Now we're going to get into the items that I will need for today's project. So in here, let's try not to cut the items. There are claws. So there's a bunch of itty bitty claws. So it might be easier for you guys to see them like this. Just a bunch of tiny claws. Oh. These are from Roadkill, so there are chips and some damage to them, but I'd rather it be Roadkill animals that I'm getting the pieces from than actual animals just being killed for their items. That's not nice. So my big thing though is, nope, they don't stink, so they were well kept. Oh, they're so tiny. Yeah, see, like these ones, some of them are missing chips and back and yeah, no. So we're gonna use those in the headdress. This is the exciting one. This, surprisingly enough, was coming from Michigan to Michigan. So let's check it out. I've got my fingers crossed that it's what I need. Fingers crossed. This is not what I thought it was going to be. Interesting. So it looks like the skull has not come in yet. These were just some tank tops. I can't show you them because they're for Gosetsu. And if you don't know what that is going to be a my Yumicon, drawing a blank there. So my Yumicon. So it looks like today in the mail is my skull, which makes this really hard to do without that skull. However, I've got to start laying down my dreadlocks anyway. So let's jump into that today. So get all of my trash out the way. Make sure to zip lock closed those guys. So what I'm going to be doing, and I hope that this doesn't get too confusing and I got my cameras correct. I've just have this very old hat. This hat, I don't know where I got it. I'm guessing it was from some type of truck show. It's not really my cup of tea. It's got some autographs on it. I'm sorry to the truck drivers that signed this cap. I'm sure you are great at your skill / sport. However, this hat is perfect with the black like trucker back that it has for this headdress. I've never worn this. I don't think I ever will wear this. This isn't my cup of tea. I'm more of a band t-shirt and band hat individual. You can see today I'm wearing my Coheed and Cambria shirt. They came to the Fillmore a couple months back. So we're going to use this, and what's going to happen is I'm going to actually sew through the hat, tie them on the inside, the dreadlocks here. So I put them on a clip as I was making them. I used yarn. For the steampunk satyr, I ended up rolling and rooving my own wool dreadlocks. But for time's sake, with this one, I merely have yarn dreadlocks. It took me about 3 days to make exactly 101 of these. Now let's see, we're going to start with the black ones. I have them on twist ties. They are probably a tangled hot mess. Yay! Each one has like a loop that I left on the end of them. That way I can string it through with the needle, wrap it around a couple times, and then tie into a knot on the other side. I was debating of whether or not this was going to be strong enough to hold all of these, but we're just gonna go for it and wish for the best. So let's, pardon me as I untangle all of this. Note to self, keeping them on that clip seemed like a great idea, but in the end it was a mess. Let's so I should be then getting another box from Petoskey with a skull in it. I do have to work tomorrow, so there will be no streaming tomorrow. Sorry, gotta pay the bills somehow. There'll probably be no streaming on Wednesday as well. I do believe I have to go into the office that day too. As of right now, we're in game for Thursday and Friday. If I stream on Thursday, I'll be streaming Talon from DC's Batman the New 52 comics. I guess I can also make a big announcement. I am going to be traveling to Windsor Comic Con, not this Saturday, because it's not this Saturday, but next Saturday for their costume contest. So I'm making, if you saw my posts a couple days ago, I was making a new mask. I've got to still make new gloves. I want gloves with zippers on them instead. It was hard to get them off last time. one good thing about living in Michigan is you're so close to a different place. It's a little longer. So why am I meticulously putting them in length order right now? I don't want to mistakenly grab some of the longer but smaller ones and start actually sewing them on the bottom of the hat, because then you have to cut it. And I used as much yarn as I possibly could to get as many dreadlocks as possible. So I don't have enough to make, or enough black yarn to make another dreadlock if need be. So we will do the best that we can the first time around. And that means this tedious task. So again, these dreadlocks are just made out of yarn. I braided a large chunk, so you can see that there are definitely different thicknesses of them. I just braided different amounts of yarn, then proceeded to wrap them tightly with more yarn. The tighter you wrap them, obviously the nicer and neater they are, because this is a Wasteland headdress. Some of them are wrapped tighter than others, some of them are loose. I didn't think it really mattered. The more naturally messy they look, I guess the more realistic it will add to my motif. So these guys are done. Along with dreadlocks of the yarn type, I'm also going to throw in some made from fur. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do this, so if anybody watching has any input, go for it. I'm not sure if I want them to be even all the way through, or if I want them to have a like it starts off smaller and gets wider and then gets, tapers back down. I've got black fur to use for this project. I have leftovers from Appa, so I've got that really long shaggy wool. Anything that we use will be weathered in the end. I just need to get the base and bulk of it all done first. And then I can just go back in with an airbrush. Along with the white, I also then have what these gray, black, my streaming side, these almost like a gray-brown dreads match the darker color below all this fur here. So I do want to use this fur as well on it. Just jumping around. So I got the black laid down. I'm going to lay down the other colors as well in this order. I know that I have more smaller pieces in different colors than I do this dark color. I figured since the black would be mostly on the bottom, like an undertone, I wouldn't need as many. We'll see. Let's see what happens. Yeah, like this guy's a little tiny one. Little tiny guy. When I started making all of these, I was trying to find something to watch on Netflix. That was my problem last time I was streaming, because I just didn't know what to watch on Netflix. I started That 70s Show. Never seen all the seasons from the beginning. So That was entertaining. Oops. So like with these brown ones, you can tell that they are more toward the top of the length scale. Maybe take this to a Burning Man in the future, who knows? Phrasing. So it does look like I do have some of the long dreads out of this brown. Not too many. And the last chunk are the grays. I went with a charcoal gray. For some reason, the gray and the blacks are from the same yarn, same quality name brand yarn. But the grays turned out a lot sloppier. Again, that could just be an operator thing, but I didn't change anything up between the one chunk and the other. And these ones are more tangled too. Yay. Yeah. I should have some really long ones with the gray as well. One of these things. When you make 101 of them, you forget that means you've also then got to sew 101 of them on. Oh, my own hair stuck to them. Ooh, I guess I got more long gray ones than I thought. Interesting. Don't pick up for unknown callers, sorry. Alright. Now, let's take and where did... Oh, so I had made mention of horns. here at the start of the horns that I'm crafting. All of my horns start with insulation foam. I probably should just drop this on the air. So I glue them together and I've cut them into their antelope-like shape. I made marks where I'm going to cut and twist the horns. That way they are their own, like, backwards drifting shape. They seem pretty big, but once they're sanded down, they'll look really cool. Those will go into the sides of the hat. So we are going to start. Let's see here. Let's first start by seeing if that skull is sitting in my P.O. box. Because if it is, I'm going to run and pick it up quickly. Sometimes I forget if I purchase things from eBay or from Amazon. It says it should be delivered today. Interesting. Rats. Alright. So I've got these ones done, and the more I think about it, I should probably have the fur ones done as well. That way I can lay them all out together. And I'm just so indecisive about this. Let's see. Get some pins. Just see, start pinning things in. Now, you would normally think like, oh, the really long ones, I'll put them in the back on the bottom. If I put them in the back on the bottom, they're going to hang down the farthest. So I don't necessarily want my longest ones on the bottom, but I do want their length. So. I'm just using straight pins and I'm pushing them into I'm just laying them out to kind of see how I want to start sewing these guys on. I like to try to keep things symmetrical. I know that that's not going to be the case when it comes to the front. It's just a pet peeve of mine, I like symmetry. Kind of doing a pattern almost. I'm letting them, I'm not sure if I put this up here if you'll be able to see them go down almost on an angle in the back. So let's see, we've got 1, 2, into a third. Looks like I'm going to be standing for this, so let's adjust you guys up here. Again, as they get shorter, I can place them further down the head, and you'll be able to see them. So let's check things out. I'm looking for 3 around the same size. So we've got 2 of these ones. More in see what I'm doing. All of these little ties up here at the top, I'm just kind of pushing them out of my way. Oh, let's see here. There you go. I'm putting a lot of them on top because I'm hoping that I can fill in a lot of the base with the fur. But I do know that I need to start bringing some down because you can't just have dreads on the top of your head. That looks ridiculous. I do want some of the dark black ones to be in the front. I know that the skull will need some shading, and if I can do it, create some shadows, illusion of shadows with some really dark dreads, that works for me. Middle. I'm starting to feel like I might need to bring down some of these tall ones because they're taking up more space than I intended. Keep some of them up there, but okay. these are going through the actual head band around the bottom. I feel bad for my foam head just being pierced with a bunch of these. Now I'm going to start pinning in the gray ones. They are different thicknesses, so I'm trying to make sure that I choose relatively the same thickness for both of the sides. Know that I'm going to have to put also some dreads on the actual white part of this hat too. You can only hope that it stays on. Let's close these. I was getting a glare, so close those. So I'm putting some of the gray ones down below as well. You want it to look full, not like it's missing things. But it's getting harder to figure out where the same places are on here. So many dreads. Oh, it looks like that's that one. Okay. Do I have another one? Yeah, I do. And what you see now is you see like this tuft of yarn on the top. when I stitch these in, I'm going to stitch them so that they are stitched straight in and they'll look more fountain-like. Filling in the back and the sides. So I should bring these down a bit. One, two, two. The same yarn that I used for the more brown dreads is the same color that I used for my Ravenclaw scarf. So I did the navy blue, and then I did it based off of the book. So it's more of a bronzy color in their scarves. It's getting there. It's indeed getting there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these smaller ones and I'm going to put them on top, almost so that they like wisp and hang over a bunch of the other dreads. So it's a little long. Let's trade them out. Much better. So we got a bunch of dreads. I'll take it off, see if you guys can see it better this way. Again, it's just on a hat. Last but not least are these wonderful bronze ones. I can try to get them in there as even as possible. Chances are, though, my symmetry is going to be screwed up from all of this now. I'll do my best. One for the other side. So it's indeed filling out. And again, with a bunch of these small ones, I'm going to start poking them in on the top. So you can see that it is much darker toward the back, and it's brighter toward the front. I'm gonna just wait to poke those guys into a possible place. So that's there. I definitely will need a little bit more volume in the form of, and I hate to say it, I'm going to use this clip again. No twist ties this time. My cat's posted up behind me, so I can see his eyes on these little yarn pieces that I've been making. Just toss that off to the side. Now it's time to lower this, sit back down. Hello, Green and Fluffy. Speaking of green and fluffy, we're going to be working with something now that's brown and fluffy. So I'm going to draw out the pattern that I'm going to use for the fur dreads. So I've got all of the other ones pieced in. I can see where I need some more bulk. The fur dreads I will be able to place both above and below the yarn dreads, and it'll give it a little bit more volume, where the yarn just can't do. Basically, more reasons to make you want to sweat when you're outside wearing a really heavy headdress. So I've got this ruler I'm going to use to measure some of the dreads that I'm going to want the length. Looks like we might want some 6-inch ones, 12-inch, and then we'll do 1/16 for the back. Move all the fur out the way for right now. I think my phone's buzzing again. Sorry, gotta text a friend back. Not a problem. Alright. Just going to, because I'm going to be sewing this, I really don't care if it doesn't look that great. Just cut out a fur. It's fuzzy. So there's the 6-inch. Let's see here. 12. And then the 1/6. Now for the tail that I have over here, I ended up having it flat on one side and round on the other, and you can see that. The reason I wanted it flat on one side and round on the other is because it was going to be resting against my leg, and it would just rest nicer in a flat stance, and it's actually backwards. So you can see it's flat on one side and then rounded on the other. We're going to make them so that they are round on both sides. Let's grab a marker that you could see. Sure. I'm not going to draw them to a point because I'm sewing them, so a curved, rounded, and or squared edge will be just fine. Again, it's fur. But I want them to be like flat dreads. Same thing with this one. And I'll make these dreads out of all 3 types of the fur that I showed you. I don't want them too wide. Probably just fold these silly things in half and go from there. Work harder, not smarter, right? My scissors are gunky. Using the fabric scissors. You don't need to cut through both pieces of paper. Just tuck this in. Save it for later. So I'm just going to fold these in half, cut them up and open them up. So there's one. We'll label them so I know what they are later if they're just floating around. I do save all of my patterns, but I don't do anything with them other than put them neatly in a binder to never be used again. Cool thing with sewing is that if anytime these are too big, I can just roll them back inside out and trim them. When in doubt, give your paper scraps to the cat. Perfect. It looks like do I want to? So I could get one big one from the black fabric, or I could possibly. Yeah, I could. Which way is the fur? Oh, the fur is going that way though. I could possibly get two. I think I'm gonna go with two of the medium size ones out of this. I'm using just chalk. Nothing fancy. It's not fancy sewing chalk. Just regular straight up chalk. Because this is symmetrical on both sides, I don't need to flip it over. Usually if you are doing a pattern and it's got fur or like a pattern, if you will, on one side, you'll want to flip your pattern over. However, because this is just the same thing over and over again, I can just turn it. So I wanted to make sure the direction of my fur, and I botched that already. So yay! I needed to make sure that my fur dread was going in the direction that the actual fur was. Because it's a straight cut up here as well, I didn't think of that. I need to not put it against the edge, because I don't want there to be the straight edge of the fur. So we'll bring it up again. Because we used chalk, who cares? We'll just draw it again. Guess and check, guess and check. So I can put, however, another one against the top here, because if I'm sewing this side to my dreadlock, it don't matter. That it does not matter. might have been mistaken about being able to get 2 full guys out of here. Let's see if I do one more up here. I might have to shorten them. I do want 2 out of this black material. Nope. Alright, so 4 of these guys is not a possibility. Good to know. I wonder if we just shorten them a little bit. Ideally, if I could do them sideways, I would get them all in there, but because the actual fur itself, I don't even know if I could comb it. Let's see here. Nope, can't comb it. It's gotta be this way. Oh well, guess I'm making them smaller. Let's put this guy though where I will need to start. I wonder. Sorry, I'm problem solving here for you. I don't want to do one of them. Okay, well we're gonna make them narrower now. Okay, so we do need to make, let's see here. Yeah, something like that works for me. Okay, I need scissors. So I just kind of guess and check that, but I don't care. It's going to be the real mess though, is this black fur everywhere. I think my scissors are trying to kick the bucket. You can do it. Now what I want to make sure that I do is when I cut this tip that I'm cutting just the fabric and not the fur, so that I get those wispies that stick out past him. Now, because I kind of cut them and drew the patterns out like an idiot, they're not going to fit together perfectly, but they will do the job. But I'm going to save all these scrap pieces because you just never know when you might need a little tuft of black. I'm going to get rid of some of the stuff, but another one. I'm going to just use these guys. My legs look like I have a very, very, very dark, long hair growing. Oh, guess I'm vacuuming after this stream. Push that all on the ground. Hope the cat doesn't walk through it. Who am I joking? He will. Come on. Okay. Need more room. So we've got 2 black dreadlocks. Let's get the white out because the white's in scraps as well. And I've got fragmented pieces. Yeah, so here's a piece. There's some more pieces. I see no need to cut into this really big piece of fur. Oh. Let's see here. Oh, I hate laying that down and all that. Looks like we can get 1 full dread out of that. It does lay down that way too. It's just so soft. I could probably get 1 out of here too. Let's see. I could actually, let's do it. We can get 2 out of this stuff, piece right here. We don't need more than 2 white. I don't think. Maybe I'll make some tiny dreads as well. Sounds like a good game plan. We'll put this white fabric away. People are wondering what's being worked on. We'll toss that up there for them to see. Now the chalk cheat won't work with this stuff. I'm just going to use a pen because it's right here. Go as far to the side as possible. Oh, almost did it again. So this fur is the fur that I used for Appa. So it's very lush. I think it's the husky fur from Joann Fabrics. I'm only making 2 dreads, so you can see like I've got some extra. I could make more. I don't need more. I'll just throw it back in the bag and use it with the next project. I drew them as close together, waste not, want not. Oh, these are going to be fuzzy. Look at how cool. I dig it. And again, these won't be bright white. Hit them with an airbrush, then paint. Two white ones. You know, I'm gonna hold off on making the long white ones. Something makes me think that those 2 will be enough, because I do plan on doing a lot. Where's my trash can? Yeah, no, that's pick up clumps of fur I see everywhere. More fur. So this stuff looks like this, really cool. Almost looks like wolf fur. Very soft. Go and flip it. You can see where I cut my swatch out to take it to Joann Fabrics to match yarn. Yeah, you can kind of see that line. I guess it's the sun. I should switch to Sharpie now. Oh no! Took my Sharpie in another room to label CDs when we were making them yesterday. It's never brought back. I guess we're just gonna use this marker then. I wonder if I do this, if I could put two little guys in between. Yep, doing it. So to save space, I'm going to toss two small dreads in between. Okay, so there's, I know for a fact I'm going to need two more small ones. Okay, so one big dreadlock. I'll make two mediums. Yeah, we'll just cut these ones off first. I'm running out of space. Running out of space. You can do it, scissors. Yeah, gosh. That seemed like that was gonna go on forever. This is too long to use those scissors on. I wonder if all I have to do is tighten them or something, because the material is slipping between my blades. It's driving me crazy. So again, making sure to cut so that you leave the fur sticking out past the ends. You want them to be fuzzy dreads. these are going to be so cool. Not sure if you guys just saw that big dust cloud of fur. Big one. Oh, I've got fur everywhere. Goodness gracious. Turn them fur to fur like I did the other guys. Another small dread done. Well, cut. So I'm switching in between the scissors because I'm using these small ones to slide the blade underneath the line of fabric to avoid cutting the fur. I don't care along the sides because I'm going to sew it up, but I want when I fold it back right side out there to be the tufts of fur that stick out from the tip. And I wish I could show you guys my lap. It's furry. Lots of fur. Cleaning my lap of all the fur. Alright, I'm just gonna stand up. I'm doing it. Fur cloud. Fur cloud. Alright guys, so there is a large mess with all the fur that I just cut out. I'm going to sign off for right now, clean up this mess, and in about an hour or so we'll come back with more dread sewing. There's fur everywhere. I'm going to get the sewing machine out and switch up camera angles as well. So thank you for watching. Remember, you can follow all of my work on social media at Disfusional, Disfusional. If you want to look for past archive work that I've done, you can check out my website at disfusional.com. Also, you can come back later today too. That'd be great. Alright, thank you for watching. Bye.